Hello my brothers, this is Justin, the founder of Masonic Improvement. I hope everybody's doing well and everybody had a great holiday season. I apologize for being away for a few months. Things have been pretty hectic on my end, but hopefully now with the new year, things will kind of settle down and I can start putting out more content regularly once again. Before I get started with this video, I would like to ask everyone to please just take one moment to hit subscribe. This will allow you to keep up with my content as I release more videos. I know I haven't really been making it a practice to ask for subscriptions lately, but if we're going to continue to grow this channel and grow this movement, and this is what this is a movement within the Masonic community, then your support would be greatly appreciated. Speaking of support, I want to also remind everybody that I do have a Patreon account for Masonic Improvement. At this time, I would humbly ask anybody that is willing to please give it a visit, and if it's within the length of your cable tow, please consider contributing to Masonic Improvement. Everything that is donated to the movement will come back and be reinvested into everything I have going on here, which is the videos, the blog, anywhere that it can be used. I will use it to improve the quality of the content that is being created. With all the upfront stuff out of the way, I would like to go ahead and cut into the body of the content for this video, which is what you probably clicked the link for, which is 8 ways to improve your lodge in 2019. Look at the operating costs for your lodge for the past 5 years and create a budget for your lodge. This has 2 big advantages. Number 1, you can vote to automatically pay monthly bills and expenses so long as they don't cost more or less than a certain percentage of the usual cost. This means that there is less need for discussion and there is no need at all to vote to give the treasurer permission to pay the bills. Number 2, when you know how much your annual expenses are, then you know how high you need to raise your dues to cover those expenses. The next point, reevaluate your dues and endowment. See item number 2 on my previous suggestion. If you are like 99% of the lodges operating in the United States, then your dues are too low. Similarly, if you are a lodge in Texas and your endowments aren't 20 times your dues, then you are losing income from your endowed memberships each and every year. Now, you can't do anything about brethren that have already endowed, but you can arm yourself with information to fix the hole in your bucket. Item number 3, guard the west gate. Brothers, listen carefully. Freemasonry isn't for everyone. Before you leave a comment and tell me how obvious this is, ask yourself what percentage of petitioners are being accepted into your lodge. What would you say? 50%? 70%? 99%? If a high percentage of petitioners end up receiving the degrees of Freemasonry, and I'll leave that actual percentage to your imagination, then not only is your lodge failing to be selective of its membership, but it is also holding the door wide open for toxic people to gain membership. Listen carefully. Toxic people are lodge killers. Someone made a very good comment when I shared this blog post to Reddit, and what they said was, it has often been said that the next Master Mason you raise could be Grand Master one day, and this is true. But something that's also not brought up is he could also be the next William Morgan, which if you don't know about the William Morgan affair, I encourage you to Google that sometime. In closing this point, I'd like to leave you with a quote from What a Petitioner for Degrees in Masonry Should Know, which was published by the Committee on Education and Service in authority and with the approval of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Texas. And I quote, "Who are fit and proper persons to be made Masons? This is a matter on which every single member of the fraternity should hold a very high ideal. It is impossible to exercise too strict caution in regards to new members. Numbers count for nothing. Quality is everything. Because a man is a chance acquaintance of a club or in business, it does not follow that he is suitable to be proposed the moment he expresses any wish for membership. We should carefully and without haste test him in many ways." Item number 4, create a mission and vision for your lodge. If the brothers don't have a vision for the future of their lodge, then how does everybody know if the lodge is successful? If the brothers haven't created a mission statement for the lodge, then how do they determine what programs to implement? Any man or organization without a mission statement and vision, written down or not, is like a ship out at sea without a sail and no destination. If it ends up anywhere, then it's entirely by accident, and you'd expect the majority of men on board to abandon ship. And guess what? They do. Next item, set a dress code. Brethren should strive to look their best for meetings. This may seem out of place in a list of suggestions to improve your lodge, But a room full of well-dressed men sets a very different tone than one full of men who look as though they just threw some clothes on and came to lodge. I'm not suggesting that everyone should wear a tux, but a two-piece suit should be the goal. When you make the effort to dress up for an occasion, you are both consciously and subconsciously preparing yourself for something important. In other words, you're telling yourself and others that you take the work of our fraternity seriously. This isn't about being elitist. Everyone can afford at least one suit. And don't give me that line about it not being the external, because that quote isn't talking about clothing. Meetings, either stated or for degrees, are supposed to be important, and we are members of the oldest and most prestigious fraternity on the face of the earth. We should all be honored to be members. Dress like you give a damn, or at least make the effort. Bring value to your stated meetings. When I first joined the fraternity here in Texas, it was not allowed for a brother to sit in lodge before he was a Master Mason. I was very excited to attend my first meeting, and it was something that encouraged me to work hard towards reaching the point that I could attend the stated meeting and see Freemasonry at work. What I saw was reading of minutes, discussing the bills, local communications, Grand Lodge communications, ad nauseum debating about fundraisers and closing. It's enough to drive a man away from the fraternity. It did for me temporarily, and it does so permanently for many others. This ties back to creating your mission statement and vision. Find out what your lodge is about and direct the focus of your stated meetings towards that. Tell petitioners what your lodge is about so that they know what to expect. If they don't want to focus on fundraising or community service or education, then that's okay, but maybe your lodge isn't for them if they won't find value in the meetings. It's better to be forthcoming with what your lodge is all about than to let them blindly join without knowing what they'll be doing once they're a member. There's no shame in directing them to a lodge that would be a better fit for their expectations. In fact, that's pretty responsible. The next point is create rules and regulations for your lodge. Does your lodge have a set of rules and regulations that your members have agreed upon? Are they well known to every member and provided to every new EA? Don't confuse rules and regulations for bylaws. Bylaws are required by Grand Lodge, at least in Texas, and any changes that you want to make have a procedure associated with them, which includes submittal to Grand Lodge. Rules and regulations allow you to set the standards and expectations of your lodge without making any changes to your bylaws. Here are some examples of things that you can set in your rules and regulations. Dress codes, officer requirements and expectations, policies regarding the cost of dues and endowments, procedures for things such as petitioners, dual memberships, and transfers, anything regarding committees and important programs. Properly made rules and regulations can really define a lodge, and having them written down and known by all membership will help the lodge to maintain its standards and avoid contention. And for the final item, streamline your business meetings. I've hinted at this a few times, but I'll say it outright. Don't waste anyone's time with things they don't care about. Number 1, decide what your lodge will be about and make that the focus of all your meetings and activities. Brothers will attend and men will join for things they care about. They will stop coming if they need to find what they are looking for elsewhere. You cannot be everything to everyone, and neither can your lodge. Number 2, create and pass a budget to expedite the treasurer's report. Number 3, circulate a copy of the previous minutes and the treasurer's report before the meeting begins. Instead of reading through each report, the secretary can ask if all interested brothers have had a chance to read each one and state that unless there are any questions or corrections, then someone can make a motion to accept them. Number 4, local and Grand Lodge communications can be posted publicly somewhere within the lodge building for interested brothers to peruse. If Grand Lodge wants something read in lodge, they will typically say so in the communication. Number 5, every officer should know his parts when opening and closing the lodge, receiving the district deputy, calling to refreshment, or balloting. Sitting through any ritual in which even one brother does not know his part can be very time-consuming and frustrating to those in attendance. Stated meetings should be planned out ahead of time and have a flow to them. Unless it is a special event, the stated meeting should never last longer than an hour. In conclusion, there are many paths to lodge improvement, and any efforts to raise the standards and create a better Masonic experience is a noble undertaking. But what about you? Do you have any lodge improvement success stories? If so, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear about them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.